minister was not afraid of the king and was punished later because of this. A certain king favored a minister by giving him the highest honors. Later, because the minister did not fear him, the king had his hands, feet, ears, and nose cut off. Similarly, those who are rich and do not think about future lives but heedlessly do ill deeds first experience their maturation after death in the hells and so forth. They experience the remaining maturation as misfortunes, when they are eventually reborn as humans. Question: if the wise see worldly existence like a slaughterhouse, why do ordinary people feel no horror?
Answer: they are as insane as a mad elephant. Question: insane in what way? Answer: in the world, someone whose mind does not function with normal stability due to an imbalance of physical constituents is called insane. If that is insanity, what intelligent person would claim that those in worldly existence are not insane? Ordinary people who want many outrageous things and speak impulsively do not have sound minds. It is like the following analogy: a king had a beloved son but got the idea, because his mind was unsound, that he did not want to see the boy.
A certain king had a son who was very accomplished and dear to his father's heart. When the king did not see his son, he ached with longing, and whenever he saw the boy he put him on his lap and hugged and held him tight. Then one day just the sight of his son upset him terribly, and he said, "You wicked boy, go away and don't stay in my presence. The sight of you bums me like fire." The boy got down on his knees and placed his palms together. Crying and trembling, he asked the king in a faltering voice what he had done wrong. The king answered, "You have done nothing wrong, but I feel displeasure at seeing you." Recognizing this change, a skilled physician secretly told one of the ministers, "This loss of affection is a bad sign and indicates that the king's mind undoubtedly is unstable. It may cause insanity. Try to treat him before this illness becomes serious. If you don't and the illness is neglected, it will be difficult to cure." The minister then thought about the situation carefully, and it was so, but being preoccupied with the king's business, he abused the physician. He called him a vile mischief maker and said, "May not even the great man's enemies go mad. Do not speak to anyone else in this way and leave the country." Nothing was done about the king's illness until after some time it got the better of him, making him laugh, cry, dance and sing for no apparent reason. Ordinary people are insane like the king who lost affection for his son because his mind was unstable. They act perversely because of their mental instability.
The wise rid themselves of rebirth in cyclic existence, which is governed by the force of contaminated actions. Moreover, they do so by stopping the process of contaminated action. One sees that the pain caused by actions like walking, strolling, lying down and so forth decreases and gradually loses its former intensity when doing the opposite kind of action such as sitting. By breaking the continuity of all contaminated actions, all suffering stops. Thus the intelligent expand their minds to encompass the means to attain the state of nirvana in which all contaminated actions projecting worldly existence have ceased. Childish beings in cyclic existence are like someone on a long journey who suffers because of exhaustion and the depletion of his provisions. They suffer from weariness traveling along the roads of cyclic existence, and they suffer because their store of virtuous actions is depleted. The intelligent rid themselves of cyclic existence by stopping the process of contaminated action.
No one can perceive the original cause of even a single effect, such as an element, an elemental derivative, the mind and so forth, which are the outcome of a beginningless continuity. When one realizes that even a single effect has a limitless multitude of causes, what childish person would not be afraid? Therefore one should always feel aversion toward, and strive for the means to gain liberation from, this vast wilderness of cyclic existence, made difficult to cross by the thickets of ignorance failing to comprehend its continuity. For instance, even a single clay pot requires a limitless variety of causes. Effort would be appropriate if the results of actions for a specific purpose, motivated by attachment, could definitely be achieved. It is, however, not certain that you will achieve all the results, such as perfect happiness. Moreover, whatever is achieved is sure to perish in the end. Why exhaust yourself physically, verbally, and mentally to achieve mistaken objectives? Make effort to give up actions projecting cyclic existence. It is like the following analogy: when a potter fires his pots, it is not certain whether they will turn out well, and those that do will certainly disintegrate. Since actions themselves, like their results, are bound to perish, do not exert yourself for no purpose. Work, like building a wall, requires effort, but when it is finished, it disintegrates effortlessly. This being so, since you still do such things, your utter lack of freedom from attachment to actions shows how foolish you are. It takes effort to set up a stone on a mountain top, but it will fall down of its own accord. Assertion: though actions which require exertion do perish, one cannot free oneself from attachment to them, because they are a source of pleasure.
Answer: there can be no real pleasure in relation to past consciousness, since it has already ceased, nor in relation to future consciousness, since it is not yet produced. Moreover, consciousness which is occurring now disintegrates moment by moment and passes. Since there is no reliable happiness, why do you weary yourself? To strive for a non-existent effect is unreasonable and like building a house on the bank of a river. Someone built a house on the bank of a river, but the land subsided. He then rebuilt it on another similar part of the riverbank. That too subsided, and so it went on indefinitely. The man who was building the house only wore himself out but did not achieve the result he desired. Worldly endeavors are like that. Assertion: one should perform virtuous actions for the sake of a high rebirth.
Answer: even high rebirths as gods and so forth, ablaze with the fire of rampant disturbing emotions and shrouded in the darkness of ignorance like the hells, produce fear in the wise with direct perception of suchness. As it is rare indeed for any worldly state not to inspire the exalted with fear, the intelligent should consider the disadvantages of cyclic existence. The accumulation of actions out of craving based on seeing a high rebirth as something attractive in itself, without cultivating aversion to worldly existence, is rejected. However, it is completely wrong to prevent and give up the accumulation of causes for life as a god or human for the purpose of liberation. It is like the following analogy: after being released from King Bala's jail, one had to follow a single pattern of behavior till the end of one's life and therefore was not freed from bondage. If childish people ever directly perceived the suffering of cyclic existence as do the exalted, their mind or heart and body would both completely fail, but because they do not realize it, they continue as if they were happy. It is like Indrabala, who sacrificed his life out of desire to be chief, and was a chief again in his next life. If ordinary people realized the suffering of the cycle of rebirths, they would give up worldly existence for fear of it, and by destroying it completely would become free.